Hello. Oh boy. Oh, I'm just mad and frustrated. Ah, fuck. So, fuck. Jill is. She's gonna go to New Orleans soon. And 2 nights ago, throughout the day, I was like saying, tonight we ride and shit like that. Like, we're gonna go out. And I was working, so I couldn't answer my phone. But I stopped by later that night, and I show up to her house, and they're packing and like sorting through her shit, and she's visibly like kind of mad or something. It's fine. So then I'm waiting around. I'm like, "Are you guys done?" And then she starts yelling at me because I wanted to do the Molly that I got for us to do, and she's yelling at me because I came over and she was busy packing her things. She has about 2 weeks left, so I'm like, okay. Since she's yelling at me, I just left. She said it was rude. Okay. The thing is that Jill also stopped taking all of her medication recently, so then I get home and I'm like, you should still come over, it's fine. And she's like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. And then I mentioned to her that, like, you're not in a good headspace and you're, like, not acting yourself because you just stopped taking your meds. And then she's like, you're invalidating my feelings. But she also completely, like, skimmed over the fact that I also recently stopped taking my meds. I've been off of my antidepressants for like 3 or 4 weeks probably. I started taking them when I got back, but then I quit again. So I know exactly the withdrawals that she's going through, and that's why I said that, because you're just gonna be fucking like evil and mean when you're initially off of them, right? So Molly would be the perfect thing to kind of get you at least kind of practice getting back into the swing of feeling good. But she didn't want to do that, so then she just has not talked to me for 2 days. So I'm just pissed off and annoyed, and I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do for the last bit of your time here, go right on ahead, because right now she's literally just being completely unreasonable. She won't respond to anything that I say, which that is like the definition of being completely unreasonable. So I don't know, just kind of fucking annoyed and mad. So we'll see. She has a party coming up. I've got a feeling she's gonna say something eventually, and it's probably gonna be snarky and mean. And then I'll be like, okay, let's talk about this. And then when she's finally able to be reasonable, then I'll explain what I meant because she's not listening, and then she'll feel dumb and she'll be sad and apologize because that's generally how it goes. Right. But as it stands, who knows? Maybe not. Maybe, maybe she just won't talk to me again, and then I'll just fucking block her and tell her that she's a fucking stupid bitch, because that's what she's acting like right now. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, geez, I haven't said anything since. I haven't done this in a long time, but I just got back from California and it was sucked. Fucking sucked. For one, I couldn't sleep because I was kind of anxious, so I didn't really get much sleep when I got on the plane. And then, so I got on the plane and I kind of was completely delirious and kept on falling asleep on like the airport and shit. But I missed my second flight. So they scheduled me from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. From 9 on onto 3 instead because I missed it. It's like, okay. And then as I'm waiting, I'm like falling asleep and shit, and then I like groggily wake up at one point, and there is a flight leaving to San Francisco at 1. I'm like, oh my god, you couldn't have like given me that one? Yeah. So I ended up getting in at like 4 or 5, probably, and so the really irritating part about, oh, okay, I'll get to that, but I get in at 4 or 5, and then I'm like, Sam, you should come get me. He's like, oh, we were thinking about it. But you should just like get this hotel at this one place. I'm like, okay, fine, get this hotel. I sleep at in Oakland, and Oakland's not nice. The side of Oakland that I was in, it's not nice. So I sleep at a fucking Motel 6, super gnarly Motel 6. There's a burn mark on the wall and part of a melted TV. The hot and cold faucets were mixed up, so I ran the hot water thinking it just had to heat up, and I just had wasted several gallons of water in a plate that suffers from drought. Not several gallons, a lot of water, because I was waiting. I was like, oh my god, this is taking forever. Just turns out that they had them backwards. I don't know, like the towels were kind of fucking dirty in there and shit. Like they were not folded or something. I don't know. It was pretty weird. But anyhow, like when I was walking to my room, there's this guy that said, his shirt said "fuck you" and he had white dreads, and I'm walking with my pink hat and the eyeballs on the back, in my backpack, and I'm just kind of like awkwardly smiling, like I don't belong here. And this guy sees me and he cracks up a little bit. He's like, what the fuck is this guy? And then I keep on walking. Not even a few feet past that, there's this kind of scary looking skinny black chick in a car who looks at me like I'm a fucking alien. I don't know if she was high or just like freaked out that I was definitely out of water. The Motel 6 there has several security guards roaming around at all times. That's pretty telling. So I sleep there, and then in the middle of the night I kind of get up and I go eat at Denny's, and like it was the grossest fucking greasy ass shit ever. I swear I had indigestion like for 4 days. It was terrible. Yeah, on the way there was this guy that was like riding his bike, and he was like trying to say something to him, and I'm just like, I'm listening to music. I can't hear you. Don't talk to me. Pretty sure you wanted to sell me something. Uh, yeah, just kind of like bad neighborhood. I could see some dude who was definitely tweaking out next to a gas station. He was like looking at me, like bouncing up and down. Weird. Not a good side of Oakland. But anyhow, I'm like, I don't know how to travel, so I'm like looking at all this shit. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I need to do. And then I tell Sam, come and get me. And she's like, they can't. And she tells me which bus to get finally, after me looking at my phone for probably like 4 or 5 hours trying to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Because I'm clueless. And so I have to ride a bus from Oakland to some other place. No, excuse me. I have to ride a train from Oakland, out of Oakland, to some other place. It starts with an M. And then a bus from there to Garberville. This is where she lives. The train was kind of cool. I like the train. It's kind of a charming place, and you can tell the people who work there just kind of have fun. The bus ride was fucking awful because I'm from Montana, and the air here is super dry, and down there it's super humid, so I felt like my nose was just like, I could smell anything, so I could smell people's gum, the fucking chicken they're eating in the back, this lady's perfume next to me, who was actually kind of making me a little sick. I could smell everything for the entire fucking way. It was awful. So anyhow, later on, I arrive at Garberville. Oh, the bus. I was like, where the fuck is my bus? when I was waiting for the bus, obviously. And the bus leaves from the train station, which was kind of nice. But I was like, where the fuck is my bus? Like, it's 5 minutes past when it's supposed to arrive, and it's not here. And I'm like, oh, and then I go inside because I was going to ask somebody about it. And the announcer's like, train or a bus leaving to Garberville Redway, whatever, it was my bus. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go back outside, and they're like all loading up all their stuff, and I'm like, is this the bus? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, why doesn't it have the bus number on it? He's like, oh, I forgot to change it. So I almost missed a bus too because it was completely mislabeled. It had a totally different number and a different destination on it. And I don't think he actually changed it until like 3/4 the way into the trip. So, fucking idiotic. And that's the whole frustrating part. It's because I drove from Montana to Washington and from Montana to Wyoming, and I think I drove from Montana to maybe Idaho or Washington again. I definitely did it at least 3 times where I drove several hundred miles to go pick up Sam, and much longer trips than the trip that she would have to make. So it took me like 5 or 7 hours or something awful riding from the train station to Garberville, whereas Sam could have driven 3 hours and came and got me, but she's so fucking under Newt's little thumb because he gives her coke that she just couldn't do it. Like, oh no, I have to work. And the thing is that she doesn't fucking work. She's so fucking lazy. One day I did all of her work for her because she was crying. Nice. Yeah. So, um, when I get there, she says, I'll drive you to San Francisco. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm sure you will. She did at the end. I drove for the first 100 miles, and then Becca drove for the last bit. Real nice. Yeah, so I get there, and I'm like, okay, just kind of feeling things out, seeing what's up, and, yeah, it's a huge fucking weed operation. Um, and I just kind of show up basically, and then Sam just kind of does her own thing, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just look around, I guess. So for the first 2 or 3 days, I'm literally just like doing nothing. Just like, okay, Sam, this isn't how it went last time. Last time we actually went and did fun things, but she just like didn't want to, didn't have any motivation. I just didn't really get why. I knew that something was up for a long time because I would call her. Like during the summer, I called her like 3 or 4 times, and she didn't want to say anything, which is like, that's really weird for Sam. Like she will always talk your ear off. She didn't want to say anything because she's a coke addict, and I was probably calling her when she wasn't high because the high doesn't last all that long. Yeah. So, like day 3 or 4, Sam kind of gives up hiding her habit from me and then invites me to do coke with her, and then we get super fucked up. We go skinny dipping, so that was fun. Finally, it was fun. But yeah, the hangover was so bad that I couldn't do anything the next day. It was like fuck up one day, hangover, fuck up, hangover after that. So it's just repeating. Becca shows up, and then Becca and I hang out a little bit, but Becca's fucking annoying, and I we get mushrooms and we share them. It's just a little body high. And she's so annoying, but I can't say anything. I don't want to make her mad or sad or anything, so whatever. Eventually my bows come in the mail, and I do that a little bit, and everybody really liked them. And Newt's kids show up, and like Owen. For one, Newt is such a shitty fucking dad. For one, he definitely has a coke problem too, probably worse than Sam does. Um, and he teaches his kids to be like awful mannered because he thinks it's gonna make them tougher. So he's constantly like encouraging them to be super mean and rude and fuck you, you know. Um, yeah, but Owen is actually kind of a good kid. He's like doesn't really like he understands that being nice is much better. So him and I were like talking, hanging out a bunch, and I kept on asking stupid questions that he would find interesting. I gave him my art book. He's fine, but we were just hanging out. Yeah, it was really uneventful and shitty, and the people there sucked, and the place there sucked. The room that I stayed in was Sam's room, the one she got from Bill, who's the guy that owns the house, and the room fucking stank so bad because the house is like just shoddily built, and you can see the light through the cracks in the walls, right? So I tried to leave the windows open so I had to get some airflow going through there, but the I didn't realize it until later on. The smell was coming from the room next to me, not from outside, because they also plant shit outside and they grow inside too. But anyhow, the smell was coming through the cracks in the walls, and it's the smell of chicken shit. So I'm sleeping there, breathing in the smell of chicken shit all night. It's horrible. Eventually, towards the end of the trip, like after the last 3 or 4 days that I was there, they cleared the room out. So that was just part of their deal. It had nothing to do with me. But yeah, the people there were terrible. There's one guy named Freedom who's just a psycho who had a problem with cats because he wanted to keep all of the cats, and they had like 12 cats. And then this is clearly too many cats, and they're like a little sickly. So they're like, okay, we have to get rid of some of these cats, and then he throws a fit, right? And then so they get rid of two out of, out of all of those. Yeah, too many cats, and he associated me with that whole deal. Mm, here now. So he didn't talk to me after that. I was like, all right, you fucking psycho. Um, so there's Bill is the old man that was in place, and he's fucking also a nightmare. He's like horribly cranky and yells at people and just kind of rude. He's nice sometimes, but it's treading on fucking broken glass with bare feet, basically. And his son is named Bill as well. There's two or three Bills. I only met two of them. But there's Billy, who does meth on the rig. And then there's Freedom, who works there and like takes care of Bill because he's a little loopy. There's Newt, who, Newt's fine, but he's got a problem, and he even told me about how his family tried to like it's whatever you call it when they try to. It's an intervention. That's what it's called. They try to get an intervention on him, and he's like, "Yeah, right." So yeah, he knows that other people know, but he doesn't believe it himself, which is too bad because now he's fucking up Sam too. Yeah. And then there's like a few other people who are just fucking weird. Like everybody's fucked up. Probably does too much weed. Does too much of everything. Completely illegal. And I was like trying for the first 2 days. I was trying to get work done so that they could do things with me and like go have fun, but no, that didn't really work because they were hiding the coke thing from me, and they couldn't do work unless they were high on coke. They just would like sit around, and like what they would do is they would like go into the room where I was like trimming and just working, and they would like trim a little bit, and then or like cut clones, um, and then they would just like vanish. I'm like, where the fuck ever go? And then they go have another cigarette, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this so that we can do things together. And then they would just fucking vanish. So, yeah. When they are high on coke, they work about as hard as a normal person probably would. Yeah. Real fun. So, that's mostly the trip summed up, I guess. It really fucking sucked. It really sucked. I could have had a good time if I was cool with all of this shit, but I was not cool with it because I kind of feel like Sam is like destroying her brain and her life, and she's wasting time. Yep. And then okay, so we are like going home, and I'm like, "Can I drive the first way?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's good." And I drive the first 100 miles because that's what I wanted to do, and then I let Becca drive because Sam got too high to drive. Fly home. That sucked too, because flying sucks. It was easier the second time around though. Except, oh yeah, on the way from Salt Lake City to San Francisco, I when I was seating myself, I had my plane ticket and the number, and then there's a little girl sitting in my seat, and she's probably like 12 or something. And I was like, "Excuse me, what is your seat number? Because this is my seat. I just need to take your seat." And she didn't say anything, so I just sat down somewhere because I've got all this huge line behind me. And of course, since she took my seat, I took somebody else's seat, and then everybody got displaced, and I separate like two different couples. The guy I sat next to was fine. He was cool. He played Factorio. Yeah, but that was the first fucking crappy flight. And then on the way from Salt Lake City to Missoula, I requested a window seat because I want to just look out the window. And I get to my seat, and there's a fucking kid in my seat. Like, I don't know, he must have been 15 or something. At first, he smiled at me, but I was pissed off because I just had a horrible trip, probably hungover that day, and this motherfucker sat in the seat that I just requested. So I sit down, I wait for the plane to start, taxing out, and then since I had a seat next to me open, I just move right on over, and then put the seat rest up, and I take up two seats. I'm like, fuck you, kid. That was my seat. I'm not even gonna talk to you, asshole. And then as I'm like getting off the plane, I'm so sick of this horrible vacation that I like as soon as the plane's done, I get up and like walk down the aisle faster than anybody else, basically, and then get up to like where the second class basically is, and hang out there. And there's this lady who has her little small child, and she was very angry that I did this, but she didn't say anything. So very true to the form of a Montanan, she passive aggressively did something very strange. So I'm waiting there with my bag like this, just waiting for everybody to get off, and everybody's taking their fucking things out, whatever. And this lady like is standing next to me, and she's like pushing against me, but she's doing it so slowly. She's like pushing into me. We just like she didn't say please or anything like that. She didn't say excuse me. She just keeps on pushing a little harder against me, and I'm just sitting here like, is she actually doing this intentionally? This is kind of weird. And then eventually it's very clear that is, and then I just laugh and I say, "Okay, you can go, lady." Jesus. And then she does. And then as she gets off the plane, she's holding her little kid's hand and taking up this huge hallway. So as soon as she's done with that, I just vroom right around her. Yep. See you later, lady. I hate that. Old ladies from Montana. The worst. Yeah, so that's basically the whole trip in a nutshell. Not a lot else happened. Of course, there were some good parts, but overall, it was fucking depressing and sad, and I'm sad. And now Jill is fucking depressed too, probably. And she won't talk to me. Even though I'm probably the only person that actually understands their fucking symptoms right now. Yeah, real cool. Real cool. So, I don't know. The cool thing was, when I got back from California, I realized I was actually kind of in shape. And then, I don't know, that was like 2 weeks ago or something, a week ago. And then I just started fucking downing the wine every night again. And I'm a little chonky again, but not so bad. Not so bad as when I left, that's for sure. Um, yeah, so I just got back here and I've been fucking playing video games nonstop because I'm depressed and sad. And on my birthday, which I didn't tell anybody it was my birthday, Macaron was going to come over with Devin and Hannah and then somebody else. And they flaked out. And then I told Jill at 11:30 p.m. that it was my birthday, just because I wanted to see what she would say, and she got upset about it, obviously. That's fair. I'm just confused as to how I feel about it. Yeah, and then basically that's kind of the last time we sort of talked, which is on the 28th, and today's the 2nd. Yeah, so 2 days ago. 2nd today? It's the 2nd. Yeah, so 28, 29, 30, 31, that's 4 days. And then 2 days ago, I went over and asked her if she wanted, or I was like, are we going to do this or not? And she got freaked out and yelled at me, and I don't like being yelled at. The last time that she yelled at me, I fucked off and didn't talk to her until she apologized because she told me to fuck off. And I said, okay, then I'll do that. Just left. And now I feel like I am a real pile of garbage because I can't find any motivation to do things, which I know I can. This is why I do this. It's very good for me. I feel like I want to break it off with Sam completely because she's just doing the same thing. I mean, granted, me too, but there's different levels of destruction involved. Whereas I'm just playing games and wasting time and feeling sad, and she's snorting coke twice a day at least. So that's cool. And then Jillian's gonna go back to. She's gonna go to New Orleans. She's like, you don't know what's good for me. And I was like, oh, is that why? I didn't say it, but I was like, oh, is that why I criticize you're moving to New Orleans? I'm just gonna read this real quick. Okay, she said, can you bring me a Slurpee? I was like, I saw a Slurpee machine, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is destroy my entire dignity by getting a fucking Slurpee. I said, put your clothes on, we're going out. She said, no, the fuck we ain't. And I said, yeah, we are, or I'm doing this alone. You didn't fucking tell me anything. Put your pants on. You forgot your hoodies. Yee. Can I get my Bluetooth speaker back? And said, whenever you like. The next time you come over would be good because I still can't drive because she's having brain zaps. But sooner rather than later because I need to pack up the trailer before my dad gets here. You know, I really wanted to do Molly my first time. Why couldn't you just ask if I wanted to tonight? So this is her saying this. I mean, I kind of thought I was dropping hints earlier. Let me read these. So tonight we ride what? I leave in less than 2 weeks, yes. So I guess I didn't really say anything, but still. I thought I was dropping at least a little hint. The thing is that she got really upset about this when I came over with drugs, and then when she yelled at me, I left. So, that's where I stand on that. Did you think I'd be sitting around doing nothing and able to just commit my whole night to something like this? Yes, because that's what she does. So I said, yep. And she said, do you even care that I'm leaving? And I said, "You're being a real negative Nancy, Jill." She said, "Well, you're making me really sad. I'm not making you do anything. It's a tough time, and you're experiencing withdrawals on top of it all." She said, "What? I can't tell if you're being serious, but if you are, that's a pretty messed up thing to say." It's like, are you sure? Because I'm not making her do anything. It's a tough time. She's leaving, and you're experiencing withdrawals. That's all entirely true. And I said, if you want to hang out, get new about here. She said, I don't. I need my house key back and my Bluetooth speaker back. I'll come by tomorrow. I said, all right, but I think it'll be good for you. You don't give a shit about what's good for me. I'll come by tomorrow. Okay, negative Nancy. Listen, I get it. You already pushed me away. No need to keep trying. I said, Jill, seriously, you're in a bad headspace, and I don't think you realize how different you act off of your meds, which is fine because it takes time to adjust, but you're acting mean, and I think you ought to come out to my place for some relief. It's shitty because I'm off my meds, and I'm adjusting and in a bad space too. Please come here. I'll pay for your Uber. I don't appreciate being told that my emotions are a product of being off my meds. That crosses a line. Had we had an actual conversation this week, you know that I've been in the best headspace I've been in the past 4 years. And you never told me you quit your meds, which I did, because when I told her that, she said, are you sure that's a good idea? And that was quite a while ago. And I said, yes, I know exactly what I'm doing. You don't know me better than I do. That includes my headspace. Come out, talk to me, or be mad. That works too. Maybe I didn't make this clear. As I understand it, you just don't think my emotions are real or justified. Talking to you will not be good for you right now, and that includes over text. I'll talk to you tomorrow. She didn't, by the way. It will. I'll listen. Pretty please come out. Well, that's a bummer. It'll be good for us. Let's have a misery contest. First person to be happy loses. Go. And then I send her pictures of my vacation. Shitty. And then the rest is me saying just things to try to get things out. We're like, well, fun, thanks for hanging out. Guess I'll find new friends. Done being petty yet? Maybe you should tell me why you decided to suddenly ignore me instead of assuming I know what the fuck you find so insulting. Ignoring me is cool, though, too. No worries. Am I disinvited to the party? Are you enjoying making me feel worthless? Yeah. So I just texted her and said, hey, you're being unreasonable. Because she is. Now talking to somebody is being completely unreasonable. Oh well, there's some drama for you. Anyhow, I'm gonna have to go to work. That'll be fun. I always like to go to work for a little while, talk to people. Macaroni gave me his guitar to fix. So the thing about that is, he told me that it just needs bridge pins. I'm like, okay, cool. That's all it needs. But it's also missing the bridge. So I need to make a little thing, like the woods thing is glued on there, but I need to make a thing that fits over it to roll the strings over. And I do have bridge pins, but I have to make that thing first. And I think it might be easy. I might just throw like literally a dowel into the groove and then just put the strings over it. It'll probably work. The neck is twisted. Twisted towards the low E. So the high E is higher, which could be pretty bad. We shall see. Yeah, so, I don't know. I was just thinking about maybe trying to quit games again. I don't know. I'm sure that when Jill leaves, especially if we leave on like bad terms, which is what she's doing, then I'll probably have to figure something out. I'll probably still play some games, to be honest, because I like hanging out with the guys, the D-gens. But I do have a project to work on, and that's his guitar. Macaroni's guitar. I learned a few songs, though. I learned, I Will. No, that's not a few, but I learned that song, and I also learned a few other, I was playing some that I wrote, whatever. Yeah, so I don't know if this helped me or not. Ah, fuck. I'm still mad. Okay, well, I don't think I have anything else to say, so call it a day, I guess. Peace.